Welcome back. It is the BMR NBA show brought to you by Bookmakers Review. I am, of course, Jordan Sharp, and as always, joined with my guys Jay Money and Junior Browne. It is yet another day, so it's trying to make another dollar for all of us, everybody out there watching. And we did just that last night, at least my end of things. I went 1-1 on the official picks, but ended up getting it done with the Raptors first half, which is a play I was talking with Jay about before the show yesterday. Wish I would have coupled that with Oklahoma City full game, because that game completely turned around after halftime. Toronto looked like they were dominating. They were up double figures at times there through the first half. I think they were leading at 10 and then ended up losing by 1. So shout out to those who rode with Oklahoma yesterday. But a good couple of picks on the show. I thought I had the under in Utah, Minnesota. To be honest, the first quarter was a little rocky, but the next two quarters looked great for the under. And then, of course, the Jazz just ripped off like a 40-piece or whatever it was in the fourth quarter. I don't exactly know how many points they scored, but it was a ton. They ruined that one, but we did in fact get it back with the Portland Trail Blazers, the top pick of the night, fading them under 100.5 points. So 1-1 official, 2-1 for me on the day, so can't complain about another winning day. Junior, how'd you end up on that Wednesday slate?
I only had one pick yesterday, the under in the Bulls Cavs game, and they were trying their best to piss me off in that fourth quarter, scoring all these damn points. But like Jay Money said, like I've been saying all season as well, the Cavs are not the same old Cavs that we've come to expect. They play defense for real, and it's not one individual, it's a whole collection of guys, which is why they defend without fouling, which is why they consistently hold teams to these low-ass scores. They don't got to score a lot of points to win games. And the market is going to start catching up. So if you're looking for value, grab the Cavs while you can, because the value is going to start to go out the window once the market catches up. Other than that, thank you, Jordan, for talking me into that Blazers team total under. That was very, very sweet. I don't usually cash with anything to do with the Blazers, so that was a nice one as well. Jay, how was your night?
Yeah, that was a good call on that under the Cavs. They've covered 9 straight games. It's a good call by Jordan as well with that Blazers team total under. An absolute sleepy game by the Warriors. They wanted no parts of covering that game. And if you're watching, if you know basketball, you could just tell they was actually more interested in trying to get Curry as many 3-pointers as possible. And I actually said that on the show. I don't know if that'll translate into a cover. I didn't even know that Scott Foster was reffing the game. I definitely would have been on the Blazers plus 15 and that shit. But anyway, I did Cavs with the Cavs and the Mavs yesterday, man. So let's keep it going today, my guys.
Yeah, let's keep it going. This slate is small, a lot of back-to-backs, but we got a good one here to start it off with for today. Utah and Philly, both teams coming off games last night. Both teams having to travel to Philadelphia here in this one. And we got a total here of 216 points. And Utah, depending on where you're looking at, there's some discrepancy in this line. Utah is anywhere from a 2.5 to a 3.5 point favorite in this one. Philly has not necessarily played great coming off of a back-to-back, but they also haven't done it in like a month. They've been one of these few teams here early in the season where they haven't had to play a lot of games on consecutive nights. Whereas Utah has been one of the top-performing teams in the entire league on no rest. And now they get to come in here and on a very short line. We know Utah hasn't been as great on the road defensively here. So for me personally, I don't have a play on this game, but I know Junior does. So I'm going to kick it over to him first. Junior, what do you got on Utah and Philly?
I got Utah all day, all night. I couldn't bet this game anymore if I tried. I don't understand this number. My projection model has this game at 5.5. So once I seen it at 3, and you guys have told me since I logged into the show that it's gone down to minus 2.5. I don't understand it from so many different perspectives. Philly's not a good basketball team today. Will they be a good basketball team at the end of the season? Possibly. Maybe they have the roster to do it. Do they have the coach to do it? I'm not really sure. Do they have the motivation to do it? Do they have the right pieces to do it? I don't know about any of those things. But what I do know is this. Me personally, this is one of my things as a capper. The quality of your wins, and regardless of the sport you're talking about, means more to me than I feel like to most people. And if you look at the quality of their wins, who is Philly beating? If any of you guys saw that Atlanta game on this past Friday night, If you want to watch the worst fourth quarter of basketball you've ever seen in your entire life, watch the fourth quarter of that Atlanta Hawks-Philly game, where Atlanta scored like 9 points and Philly scored 20 points. Those two teams combined for 29 points. So you don't tell me that's a quality win, because it's not. And they've beaten Charlotte 2 times. Are those quality wins? I suppose, depends on your opinion. Maybe if you're a Charlotte fan, you might think that. Before that, they beat the Orlando Magic. Before that, they beat Sacramento. I could keep going. The point is, they don't beat anybody that has quality. That's an actual, real winning team, a playoff team, a competing team. So to me, there's nothing about Philadelphia that makes them a bet-on team. And then when you look at the Utah Jazz, now the Utah Jazz haven't started off as hot as they did last season, but their margin of victory through 24 games is actually bigger than it was last season. They're winning games by an average of 10.1 a game. And if you just look at NBA history, that's like 12th or 13th, like all time. Now, obviously, it's only 24 games, but the point is this: they're still in that zone that they created last year, where they're winning by margin regularly. So, and even if you look at their splits on the road, unlike most teams, not really different than their home splits. They score a few more points a game and allow a few less, or vice versa. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the stats right now. But the point is, their splits are virtually identical on the home and the road. Get Philly the F out of my face. You guys already know my motto. I might have to get a T-shirt. I hate passing up on a sale, son. Give me the Jazz -3.
That's a new shirt, is Smack City and don't pass up a sale. I love it. Jay, what do you got on Philly and Sixers, or Philly and Jazz? Sorry.
Man, it's a tough game, man. I'll be honest with you. Junior makes some good points. He does. The one thing I figured out, though, the past couple of years with NBA, it's not always looking at the past games, though, or even looking at the most recent games, how the teams have played. Sometimes you just simply have to match them up against each other. When you do that, there are some matchup advantages for the 76ers here. I'll tell you one of them. I think Tobias Harris has a huge matchup advantage here. Now, another thing, this is a kind of a revenge game J spot. Obviously, the Sixers went on a long slide there without Embiid, without Harris as well. They were without Curry. They were without a lot of players, and the Jazz cleaned them up 120-85 in Utah. This is the revenge spot. I don't like the spot here for really either team, to be honest, which is why I hadn't taken a side. It's crazy. I'd like to say I lean Sixers here with the revenge. They lost by 35 points, man. Like, seriously, bro. You're going to remember that shit. And, I mean, I like Tobias Harris here over 17.5 points. I didn't bet the side. I really don't care who wins. But I like Tobias Harris to go for 20 and sleep tonight. Obviously, Embiid he'll be occupied by Gobert all night. And Embiid may pull Gobert out to the three-point line. That should open up more lanes for Tobias Harris. He only had 12 points in the last game in Utah. Obviously, there was no Embiid. That was his first game coming back from like a 6 or 7 game absence. I think Tobias Harris has to go for 20, even for the Sixers to stay in this game. They've been lackluster at the house as well. So, and just one more thing, I wonder about this, man. Tobias Harris, I'm just seeing a couple at this book, whatever. Tobias Harris has scored 20 or more points, and Sixers get the win at plus 475. And then you could counter that with Mike Conley to score 15 or more points, and Jazz win at plus 500. I feel like you take both of those, one of those going to cash, and you will come out on top, obviously, with a plus 475, plus 500. So I'm sitting here really thinking about doing that. I already bet the Tobias Harris over 17. Like I say, I like his points all the way up to 20. I think he's going for 20 in his sleep tonight. I just like the matchups. And you look at it, the Jazz bench not really strong, man. I know they got Rudy Gay back. Why the hell did they give up Niang? He was their best bench player pretty much last year outside of Clarkson. So I'm worried about the Jazz on the road. It's a tough spot, but give me Tobias Harris over 17.5 points, Jordan.
I like that prop just for this reason that I think that it's a lot. If you're leaning Philadelphia, it's a lot safer bet than just taking the points. Exactly. I think, in my opinion. So if you like those guys, if you like Philly to stay in this game and or win, yeah, Tobias Harris absolutely has to have a big game. There's almost no scenario where that they win this game and Tobias Harris has another 10 or 12 points. Yeah,
just real quick about taking props, they get blown the fuck out. Tobias Harris can still cash. So I'm staying away from the side. I don't like the fact that the Jazz do have a day of rest advantage. They could be big here with both teams traveling. Like the Sixers are coming back to the house of first game after 4 straight road games. Not a spot where I'd like to bet on a team, to be honest with you. So I understand the Jazz, but I just want to go with the matchup there, mismatch. Tobias Harris, nobody really to check him if you ask me as far as like a true power forward. So give me Tobias Harris over 17.5, guys.
Yeah, the one more thing before we move on. This is also, one of those spots for the Utah where the second game of a 3-game and 4-night stretch, and they've yet to put out their injury report as well, whereas Philly has, and it seems like everybody's going to play except for their G League guys and obviously Ben Simmons. So that a little fishy to me. That could be why we're seeing a little bit of a discount right here. But, I mean, if that comes out, in the next 45 minutes, maybe the next go-around here, because they've been putting them out every hour on the bottom half of the hour, if we see no injuries for Utah reported, then you know what? That may be the sign. But, yeah, you're right. This is a tough game, a very tough game. The line reflects that. So we can move on. Another good one here, should be a good one at least. Los Angeles Lakers heading down to Beale Street to play the Memphis Grizzlies here tonight. And everybody, and their mom is, and their grandma. I know we mentioned we got probably some grandma fans. There's some grandma degenerates that watch this show. -4 bet from 2.5 road favorites here. Grind City is not an easy place to play. I'm going to start off by saying that. We know what happened. They were an excellent fade the last time. We touched on that. I think we won some money on that as well. And Memphis here, without Ja Morant, it did come back to earth a little bit in their last game. But in this spot, in this particular one, I don't know how much I trust the Lakers on the road, even though they do have a big rest advantage. And that could be also combining why we're seeing this line movement as well. But this is another one where if this keeps going up, I have to think that the crowd, regardless of who's playing tonight for Memphis and who's not going to play, is going to be hot. They're another one that hasn't released an injury report yet, so I'm kind of weary of this one as well. It's another one of the reasons why it's only a lead for me at this point. But if I'm getting the Grizzlies at 4.5 or 5 by the time this lines get closer to close, I have to just consider it at least a little bit. But the rest advantage for the Lakers does concern me. Jay, I'm going to go over to you first. With everybody back to the Lakers and obviously still without Ja Morant, am I overthinking this here? The Lakers going to come in and Russ Westbrook going to just take over this game because he doesn't have to worry about guarding Ja and just continue to play the way that he's been playing, or do I see value with the Grizzlies?
Well, it's not that you're overthinking it. I think a lot of people, to be honest with you, is going to look at this game and say, look, the Grizzlies been hot, and the Lakers, they're trash, right? But I like the Lakers here. I'll be honest. You can really just cap them when it gets to this point in the season and beyond. You really can only cap rest advantage if you like, and you'll be able to see why some lines are, a little bit different than the others. You can just literally just look at the rest advantage, and it obviously is built in, but it tells a damn good story. I think the Lakers are being helped out by the league right now. I said it a few games ago. They've been having 3 days off, 4 days off, all this shit. You see them win versus the Celtics. They go on the road here. The Grizzlies do have revenge, but Ja Morant did have 40 points in that game as well. I like the Lakers here. I agree with the line move up from 3 to 4. They have a heavy rest advantage. Give me the Lakers here. I'm not even a big Lakers fan, but yeah, I got the shirt on today, man. Give me Lakers -3.5, -4. I think this one will get ugly in the second half, Junior.
Yeah, it can only be Lakers here for me. I watched that first game where Ja Morant put up 40, and he probably, they could have won the game if he made some free throws, but they still came up short. This is a very different Lakers team than that point of the season. I still don't think they're a good team, but they're definitely not as bad as we've seen, and they look like they're kind of starting to figure things out. I wouldn't really want to fade them after they played what you probably have to assume is their best game of the season. If it's not their best game of the season, it's one of them. It's the best game they've played in a long time. They actually look really good both offensively and defensively. And once they start to figure things out defensively, that's when their ceiling goes to a whole other level. And if you look at their last 3 games, after getting lit the F up by the Kings, even though it was triple overtime for 141, they've allowed 106, 92. They lost against the Clippers by allowing 119, and then they got another win by allowing 102. If they're going to play defense, this is a whole different team. I think if you got it at 2.5, you should be really confident. 4, you lost obviously some of the value now that's gone up to 2 possessions. But I agree with Jay. Gun to my head, it's Lakers or nothing. I think that the Grizzlies have to be respected for being able to compete without Ja Morant. But if you look at their roster right now, they got even more guys out now. Kyle Anderson is out. Brandon Clark is out. Somebody else is out. But even if you just want to go those two, this is a team that's a sum of their parts. They don't rely on one guy, and even if they did, that guy is not even there. So now you take out Kyle Anderson and and Brandon Clark, who are top 7, top 8 in that rotation. Who's taking over those minutes? Because I'm trying to pull up their roster. Who are you giving those minutes to? Tyus Jones? You giving that? Who are you giving that to? John Conchar? I mean, there's only so far these guys can go on the bench before the regression starts to get real. The Lakers are not the opponent you want to be short guys on top of being short your best guy. I think it could be Smack City, actually, for the Lakers here.
George, I'm actually pretty surprised you're not on the under here, to be honest. Like, I have a heavy lean to the under if the Grizzlies.
I haven't been interacting with the chat. So did somebody in the chat say they're looking ahead to Oklahoma City? Yo, people in Oklahoma City are not even looking ahead to their own goddamn team. Ain't nobody looking ahead to no Oklahoma City. No way. They smacked them. They smacked the Grizzlies tonight. And this, once I saw the Thunder lost by 70, they disgust me. I can't even take this team seriously as an NBA organization. Sorry for that rant, Jordan.
No, you're straight. You're straight. I will say this: the Grizzlies stock from their 4 or 5 game stretch without Ja Morant, where they play, has plummeted, and the Lakers stock, as we've been talking about for essentially the last 2 weeks on this show, has hit the trough and is back to coming up. And you're right. These are very, very viable buy opportunities for the Los Angeles Lakers that we're looking at. In regards to the under, Jay, yes, I was, and then I saw the line shoot up 3 points, and I'm like, what are we doing here? It's another one of those where it's exactly how I feel about the Grizzlies a little bit. Like, if this line gets too high, I have to think about the under, right? But I say it all the time. I don't usually fade the team. 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to lay off. Before we get on to the next game, also shout out to you're right, a guy who might be getting us some minutes tonight from the Mastodons, IPFW, John Conchar. Can't go a day without a John Conchar mention on this show. And if it's got, you're right, Junior, if it's getting down to him on the bench, we got problems. Even though I like
they
his
actually
game.
been balling, bro. You guys watching. These guys, these nobody guys for the Grizzlies,
all these guys.
So look, but Jay, what I'm saying to you is, but that's what I said though. Like, these guys have to be respected for the fact that they hold it down. Like, every night you look at the box score and you're like, bro, I watch Grizzlies games just out of curiosity. I look at the box score, I'm like, Xavier Tillman had 29 points. What the fuck is going on right now? And I go and watch it. But so what they're doing, their coach needs a lot of credit. Nobody, you can't disrespect anybody on that team. But what I'm saying is, once you start giving more minutes to these lesser guys, that has to catch up with you at some point. You feel me?
Yeah. Especially against the Lakers, yeah. Especially against the Lakers. That building, though, I will say this. I've been to weeknight games in Memphis before, and this is when they were bad, or they were like the baby Grind City Grizzlies with like a young Marc Gasol, and they still had Rudy Gay and those guys. Like, that building gets pretty loud regardless of who's there and what night it is. You got the Lakers coming into town. That is going to play a factor tonight. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for the Lakers, but you're right, Junior. You said it, and I will reiterate it before we move on. At some point, it's going to catch up to the Grizzlies here, and we're starting to see that. And I'm not going to be the one that I don't think, and this is why it's going to stay a lean. I think for me, it's just I'm not going to be the one to step in front of them, the Lakers, in this spot tonight. Unless we don't have anything else, we can move on to this last game of the night. Late game at 8:30 tonight. Shout out to East Coasters who can stay up for all the games tonight. Denver in San Antonio to play the Spurs. Oh boy, what are we doing with the Spurs tonight? 2-point favorites in this one has flipped from they were 1.5 dogs, and now the line has flipped a full 3.5 points. I have zero idea what to do with this game because I don't know what the Spurs have done necessarily to deserve that. And I like the Spurs. I'm like the Spurs apologist of this show, I feel like. But they're going to be without Keldon Johnson tonight. They're going to be without Devin Vassell again. That's 2 big pieces on the wing that is very hard to make up for here for this team. And yet there's still a couple point favorites here tonight. So Junior, I'm going to go back. Junior, I'm going to go back to you here for this one. Is there value in the Spurs that I'm missing here? What am I missing here? Whereas everybody is jumping on those Spurs tonight.
I'm gonna tell you what, there was value, but you know this as well as I do because you're one of the numbers guys. The sharp money corrected the line.
Yeah.
The odds makers put out a bad line, and sharp money corrected the line and put it back into its rightful place. People assume odds makers always know what the correct line should be, and they don't. There's too many games to cap and too many sports to do it in. Sharp money, because people, I listen to other shows, and some people talk about sharp money and just kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? That sharp money had nothing to do with anything in this situation. This is one of those obvious situations where sharp money dictated the line. If I was going to touch this game, it would have been the opening line, which is San Antonio as home dogs. But the thing is, me personally, the one time that I tried to convince myself and people watching this show, which was just like a couple of shows ago, that San Antonio is going to do it because they've been doing it on the road and they're tired of losing at home, then they went and lost at home again. So I'm not taking it unless I'm getting points. That's for goddamn sure. So if you're asking me my opinion, the opening line for San Antonio was where the value was at. That's gone, because I wouldn't even take Denver at +2 in this spot personally, because Denver's lost 8 out of 10 games. So what about them like makes me want to take points? I need more than one possession if I'm taking points from Denver. I need at least a 3.5.
Jay, what do you think about this one? I was also kind of leaning over. It was another spot, but that's also kind of been hit a little bit hard, especially the first half's gone up from 109 to 111. Just simply because looking at these two teams, both of them have struggled defensively on no rest. So, is that the play here? Do we still have value there, or is this just a complete stay away spot?
Man, I don't know what to do with this game. It's crazy because the Spurs actually they turned up on the road. Some teams are just like that, man. I don't know why. I think it could be because obviously last year there was no fans, and then teams have to get reacclimated to playing their home arena with fans. I don't know why there would be a thing, but it's actually I don't know why. You would want people in the arena cheering for you, but I don't know, man. But they've been terrible at the house. I understand it. Obviously, Nuggets. This is the 6th game of a 7-game road trip. I mean, I couldn't talk anyone. I would just stand away from this game. These two teams play again in another couple of days. So see whoever loses in this game, take them the next game. I do know whoever loses this one, I'll likely be on the next one. I didn't bet aside. I'd like to say I lean the Nuggets. Obviously, on the back-to-back, the Spurs have the rest advantage here. So I don't know what to do with this Nuggets team, man. They're so up and down. Obviously, they're the better, more talented team. They don't always translate to wins. Junior said, hey, these motherfuckers got smacked. It was +1.5. It's sitting at -2 now. That's without Keldon Johnson. We know that Keldon Johnson isn't playing here, and it still got smacked. That's what I'm so surprised about, because the Spurs are not the type of team. They could be dropping guys, right? But I can tell you what I do like in this game. DeJounte Murray to record a double-double +105. What are we doing here? Jakob Poeltl to record a double-double at +150? What are we doing here, man? I see both of those cashing with ease. We're talking you want to sprinkle on DeJounte Murray triple-double as well, +650. Guy's been balling out. He's the best player on the team by far. His usage rate has went up, and I think the last few games, last game, he just missed it and with some rebounds or assists, like by 3 or something like that. So DeJounte Murray double-double +105, Jakob Poeltl +150. I'm pretty sure I'll be on those. I even like Jakob Poeltl over points, rebound, assist over 23 as well, guys. I'm Prop J finna start coming out on some of this shit.
I think that's pretty sharp. I'm just looking at that Jakob Poeltl line, that double-double. He's what, at 11.5 and 9.5 rebounds tonight? I mean, you're telling me +150? Yeah, with no Keldon, and in a game where he's going to have to play a lot of minutes against Jokic, assuming Jokic does play. But either way, he's going to play a lot of minutes, I think, tonight. Even if the Joker gets surprise rested here, which is the thing about the slate. Before we close real quick, I mean, like Memphis, Denver, and Utah. There's going to be some surprises in the injury reports once they finally come out. So just kind of wait. Just play it by ear, But this is, as Jay says, quote the great Jay Money, the modern day NBA. So we got to know who's on the rest reports before we make any food. But I like that Jakob Poeltl play, Jay. I might have to tell you on that because that looks pretty sharp. He's going to have to score. If they win, if somebody, like we talked about, Keldon out. Somebody's going to step up. If they're going to win, they've taken 3.5 points worth of steam. That means that somebody's prop line has some value here. So maybe Poeltl tonight. Let's get to our officials here real quick because we got to wrap it up. We are out of time. I will go first real quick because I have nothing today. No officials for me today. So I'll kick it over to Prop J Money here for your officials today.
Yeah, Tobias Harris over 17.5 points, man. Wouldn't talk anybody out doing that. Tobias Harris over 20 points. Philly win, and Conley over 15 points. Jazz win, like I say, plus 475, plus 500. You win one of them, you're coming out on top for sure, my guys. Obviously, you could lose both, so unfortunate. But I do think that both of those are very correlated to each team winning there. And double, I will go official with this one, man. Jakob Poeltl plus 150, man. I'm going to official with that one. I like the DeJounte Murray one as well, plus 105. I think that one should definitely hit, and that's why the line is so low as well. I think both of those are hitting. Their usage rate is shooting up even more now without Keldon Johnson, my guys. But yeah, Lakers -4. I'll go official -4. Let's go, Lake Show.
Yeah, I got one play tonight. Jazz -3. I feel like this line is short. Although I do agree with something that J Money said. Tobias Harris is the X factor. If he can get off, then Philly has a chance. If they can hold Tobias Harris in check and Rudy Gobert does his job against Embiid, Utah should win this game by 2 possessions, in my opinion.
You heard it. You heard it here first. Let's cash some tickets tonight. Thank you, of course, to Bookmakers Review. Letting us do the show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. For my guy, Jay Money is Money. Go follow him on Twitter. Follow Junior Browne at Junior Browne 21. I am Jordan Sharp. Follow me on Twitter as well. And we will see you back here for a much bigger and hopefully better slate on Friday here, December 10th. So until then, best of luck on your picks tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.